the Galactic Supreme Council floated in silence above a dying star. The star was old. Its light was weak and unstable, slowly tearing itself apart. Long streams of fire twisted around its surface like wounds that never healed. The council chamber had been built here on purpose. To the galaxy, it was a reminder. Nothing lived forever, except power. Inside the massive chamber, hundreds of alien leaders gathered in their elevated seats. Some were tall and armored. Others were shapeless, glowing beings. Some were machines older than human history. All of them were ancient. All of them were powerful. None of them had ever been defeated. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. This meeting was not called in fear. It was called in boredom. A mass of holograms slowly formed in the center of the chamber. Stars shifted. Borders appeared. Then one word burned bright across the display. Humanity. For a moment, the room was quiet. Then the laughter began. It spread from one end of the chamber to the other. Deep, sharp, clicking, echoing laughs filled the air. Some leaders leaned back in their seats. Others shook their heads in amusement. Humans, one voice mocked. Why are we wasting council time on them? Another leader spoke, his voice calm and dismissive. They are too emotional. They fight each other more than they fight enemies. A tall insect-like ruler waved a limb. They are divided by nations, beliefs, and pride. A species like that never lasts. More laughter followed. The hologram shifted, showing old data. Human wars, human protests, human internal conflicts. A massive reptilian admiral leaned forward. His armor was covered in symbols of past victories. Entire species had fallen under his command. If humans were dangerous, he said slowly, they wouldn't hide. That line earned approval from across the chamber. The admiral continued. They expand slowly. They avoid conflict. They stay quiet. That is not strength. That is fear. The hologram changed again. A new image appeared. A single ship, drifting near the edge of galactic space. Unidentified. Unmoving. A council analyst began the report. Long-range sensors detected this vessel 3 cycles ago, the analyst said. It appeared near the border of human-controlled space. The image zoomed in. The ship looked strange, smooth, dark, massive. The analyst continued. No weapons detected. No active shields. No response to communication attempts. The council burst into laughter again. A broken scout, one leader said. A spy that lost its nerve, another added. The reptilian admiral smirked. So this is the great human threat? The analyst hesitated. There is one irregularity. The laughter faded slightly. The analyst spoke carefully. The ship's size does not match its energy output. It is far too large for the power it emits. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Before the analyst could continue, a junior officer stepped forward. He was young by galactic standards. His species had only joined the council recently. There is something else, the officer said nervously. The vessel's structure does not match any known human design. The hologram rotated, highlighting the ship's curved shape. No engines visible, the officer added. No heat signature. No exhaust. The council grew quiet. For a brief moment, something like unease touched the room. Then the admiral laughed. A scared officer sees ghosts, he said. Humans copy designs all the time, poorly. Laughter returned, louder than before. The council leader raised a hand. This is nothing, he declared. A hiding species pretending to be mysterious. A vote was called. The decision was quick and careless. The council would approach the ship publicly, not to attack, not to negotiate, to humiliate. A fleet was dispatched. Dozens of powerful alien warships moved toward the unknown vessel. They did not cloak. They did not hide their weapons. This was meant to be seen. Across the galaxy, the event was broadcast. Watch, the admiral announced. See how humans react when cornered. The fleet arrived. The human ship remained still. No shields activated, no weapons powered up, no communication sent. Alien scanners swept over the hull. Nothing. One of the warships fired a low-power scan pulse. It washed over the vessel and faded into space. No response. The junior officer swallowed. Permission to suggest caution, he said quietly. The admiral did not look at him. Denied. The council watched as the fleet moved closer. Close enough to see markings on the hull. Human language. But no messages, no warnings, just silence. The ship did not flee, it did not fight, it did not even turn, it waited. Somewhere deep inside the chamber, a machine intelligence processed probabilities and found something wrong, but no one asked it to speak. The council was already satisfied. "This is what fear looks like," the admiral said. The dying star outside flared violently, casting shadows across the chamber. The unknown vessel drifted silently between the alien warships, unchanged, unmoving. And no one noticed that the ship had already been watching them. The alien fleet surrounded the unknown ship in perfect formation. From every angle, the human vessel was watched, scanned, and measured. Warships hovered at a careful distance, their weapons powered but unfired. To the council, this was not a battle. It was a lesson. The massive screen inside the Galactic Supreme Council showed every detail. The hull of the strange ship was smooth and dark, with no sharp edges. It reflected the light of the dying star like calm water. No visible damage, a sensor officer reported. No energy spikes. No shield activation. The reptilian admiral crossed his arms. "Then it is harmless," he said. Exactly as expected, a closer scan passed over the ship. Still nothing. The junior officer stood silently at the edge of the chamber. His eyes stayed locked on the data stream. Numbers kept changing, correcting themselves, then changing again. "That should not happen, sir," he said carefully. "The scans keep failing to map the interior." The admiral did not turn. "Your sensors are outdated. They are council grade," the officer replied. "They should—" "Enough," the admiral snapped. The council leader raised a hand. "Proceed." A single alien warship moved closer to the vessel. Its surface lights flashed as it prepared a warning discharge. "This will wake them," the admiral said. The ship fired. A pulse of controlled energy slammed into the human vessel's hull. The impact was clear. The pulse should have shattered the surface, or at least forced a shield response. Instead, the energy vanished, not deflected, not absorbed. Gone. The council chamber went quiet. "No reaction," the sensor officer said slowly. The hull temperature did not change. The junior officer felt a cold sensation spread through his chest. "That is impossible," someone whispered. The admiral leaned forward. "Fire again." A second pulse struck the ship. Again, nothing. The human vessel remained motionless, drifting as if the attacks did not exist. Laughter tried to return, but it sounded weaker now. "Some kind of dampening field," a council scientist suggested. "Primitive, but effective." The admiral nodded. "See, still harmless." He turned toward the fleet commander. "Prepare a boarding team." The junior officer stiffened. "Boarding?" he asked. "Without resistance data?" "We will show them how powerless they are," the admiral replied. "Let the galaxy see." A boarding craft detached from the nearest warship. It was small, fast, and heavily armed. Elite soldiers filled its interior, each wearing battle armor tested in dozens of wars. As the craft approached, something strange happened. The human vessel's surface changed. Not quickly, not violently. A section of the hull opened. No alarms, no energy surge. A doorway appeared. The council watched in silence. "They opened it for us," the admiral said with satisfaction. Fear. The boarding craft locked onto the opening. The soldiers moved inside with weapons raised, their cameras activated. The council could see everything. The interior was massive. The hallway stretched far beyond the camera's range, wide enough for several warships to fit side by side. The walls were dark metal, smooth and unmarked. Dim white lights glowed softly along the floor. No crew, no guards, no movement. "This ship is empty," one soldier reported. The junior officer's hands clenched. Empty ships did not open their doors. The soldiers moved deeper. Their footsteps echoed loudly, as if the ship itself was hollow. Then the first signal cut out. No explosion, no scream, just silence. "Signal lost," the sensor officer said. The admiral frowned. "Continue." More teams moved forward. One by one, their feeds went dark. The chamber filled with uneasy murmurs. "What kind of trapper moves signals without damage?" someone asked. The junior officer spoke again, louder this time. "This ship is not reacting because it does not need to." The admiral turned sharply. "Explain." The officer swallowed. "This vessel is not defending itself," he said. It is observing. The council leader shifted uncomfortably. Before anyone could respond, a message appeared on the main screen. Human language, clear, simple, automatically translated. Enence war confirmed. The room froze. Another line followed. Evaluation in progress. The evaluation in progress. The evaluation in progress. The admiral's confidence cracked for the first time. What does that mean? He demanded. Inside the ship, gravity shifted. Alien soldiers were thrown into walls. Armor systems failed. Weapons shut down. Panic filled the remaining audio feed. This is not a battle, one soldier shouted. It's... The signal cut. The human vessel remained silent. No weapons fired. No engines ignited. Outside, the fleet's systems began to glitch. Targeting arrays flickered. Communications delayed by fractions of a second. Small delays, but deadly ones. The junior officers stared at the screen. This ship is testing reactions, he whispered. Not fighting. The dying star outside flared again, brighter than before. The human vessel slowly rotated. Not away, toward the council fleet, and for the first time since its arrival, a faint glow appeared beneath its hull. Inside the human vessel, time stopped making sense. The alien soldiers floated helplessly in shifting gravity. One moment, they were pressed into the floor. The next, they were slammed sideways into the walls. Their armor systems screamed warnings. Balance controls failed. Weapons shut down without command. This is not possible, one soldier shouted as his rifle powered off. My suit is dead. No one answered him. The hallway lights dimmed slightly, then returned to normal. The ship was calm. Too calm. It did not shake. It did not react to the chaos inside it. It was unaffected. In the Galactic Supreme Council, panic finally replaced laughter. Restore communication with the boarding teams. The council leader ordered. The sensor officers worked frantically. No response, one said. All internal feeds are gone, another added. We are receiving internal data instead. The main screen changed. It no longer showed the boarding teams. It showed diagrams. The interior of the human vessel unfolded layer by layer. Massive chambers, endless corridors, sections that were larger than entire cities. The scale was wrong. The ship was far bigger inside than outside. That violates known physics, a machine intelligence stated. The junior officer stared at the display, his voice barely above a whisper. This ship isn't breaking physics, he said. It's ignoring them. The reptilian admiral clenched his claws. Enough, he growled. Prepare weapons. If the ship resists. Before he could finish, another message appeared. Human language, translated instantly. Boarding outcome inadequate. Silence fell across the chamber. Inadequate, the admiral repeated. They think we failed a test? Another line appeared. Kiri e responses. Car rewes, responset periodic table. The council leader leaned forward. What crew? He demanded. There is no crew. Inside the vessel, one surviving soldier crawled along the wall. His armor sparked. His breathing was loud and uneven. He reached a massive door at the end of the corridor. It opened before he touched it. Beyond, it was a chamber so large his mind struggled to understand it. A vast open space filled with floating lights, symbols, and moving shapes. The air itself seemed alive. The walls curved inward endlessly, like the inside of a giant machine heart. And at the center, nothing. No throne. No command seat. No captain. Only a single symbol hovering in the air. A human symbol. The soldier's visor translated it automatically. Obi Servachin Core. He tried to step back. The floor vanished. In the council chamber, every fleet system began reporting errors, navigation delays, weapon misalignment, shield timing failures. Small things, but happening everywhere. Small things, but happening everywhere. This ship is interfering with our systems, a commander shouted. Across the entire fleet. The junior officer's hands trembled. It's not interfering, he said. It's measuring how we react under pressure. The admiral turned on him, furious. You dare defend this insult? The officer met his gaze. No, he said quietly. I'm explaining it. Another message appeared on the screen. Species Bachervier, Argressivid, Responsi tu Nor, Hostel. The council leader's voice shook. Is it judging us? Before anyone could answer, the image changed again. It now showed records. Old battles, past invasions, destroyed worlds, alien victories. The ship was displaying the Council's own history. Why does it have this data? Someone whispered. The junior officer swallowed hard. Because humans watch, he said. They always watch. Inside the observation core, the final boarding soldier screamed as invisible forces lifted him into the air. His armor peeled open like thin metal. He was not crushed. He was not killed. He was scanned. Every memory, every fear, every belief. The ship learned. Outside, the human vessel rotated fully toward the alien fleet. The faint glow beneath its hull spread outward in smooth lines. Not weapons, not shields. Something else. Power. Raw. Silent, controlled power. The admiral finally shouted the words no one expected him to say. All ships, pull back. The order was too late. Fleet engines failed to respond immediately. Just a short delay. A delay the ship had already measured. The council leader stared at the main display, his voice hollow. This was never a trap, he said slowly. The junior officer nodded. It was an interview. Another message appeared, this one longer. Species classification updated. Status potentile threat. Status potentile threat. Real protocol, ophorizid. The lights in the council chamber flickered. The dying star outside flared violently, as if reacting to what was about to happen. The human vessel's hull began to change. Layers shifted. Surfaces unfolded. The darkness peeled away. Something enormous was hidden beneath. The galaxy leaned forward, afraid to breathe. The human vessel began to change. At first, it was so slow that some council members believed it was an illusion. Lines appeared across the dark hull, thin and glowing faintly. They moved like cracks in ice, spreading with calm purpose. The alien fleet froze. No one fired. No one spoke. The junior officer felt his breath catch. This is not damage, he said quietly. It's a release. The hull folded outward. Layers slid apart one after another like armor being removed. What had looked smooth and simple was revealed to be only a shell. Beneath it lay something vast and complex, filled with shifting structures and glowing systems. The ship grew, not by moving, not by expanding outward. It unfolded. Space bent around it as hidden sections revealed themselves. The vessel's true size became impossible to ignore. It was not a ship meant to fight others of its kind. It was a command vessel, a moving stronghold, a presence. Gasps filled the Galactic Supreme Council. That size, one leader whispered. That mass. The machine intelligence recalculated silently, then spoke. Correction, it said. Previous estimates were inaccurate by a factor of 12. The reptilian admiral stared at the screen, his confidence finally gone. This is not a scout, he muttered. The human vessel completed its transformation. Where once there had been darkness, now there was light controlled, precise, alive. Vast energy channels pulsed beneath the surface like veins. Structures rotated slowly, aligning themselves as if waking from deep sleep. And still, no weapons fired, no threats sent. The ship simply existed. The dying star outside flared violently, its light reflecting off the revealed hull. For the first time, the human vessel was fully visible to the galaxy. Then came the voice. It did not boom. It did not threaten. It spoke calmly. Human. Translated instantly across every system, you are observing a human strategic presence. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Human. A single ship? A presence? The voice continued. You approached without caution. You boarded without consent. You tested without understanding. The junior officer felt a strange sense of relief. They were finally speaking. The voice did not rise. It did not accuse. It explained. This vessel remained hidden to evaluate behavior, it said. Your actions have been recorded. The main screen changed again. It now showed timelines. Alien fleets approaching. Warning shots fired. Boarding teams sent. Every decision replayed. You laughed, the voice said. You assumed weakness. You equated silence with fear. The reptilian admiral slammed a claw against his seat. This is manipulation, he shouted. A bluff. The human voice paused, then replied, no. The alien fleet's sensors suddenly updated. New readings flooded in. Weapons countless, layered deep within the ship. Defensive systems active but restrained. Fleet coordination links stretching far beyond visible space. The Council realized something at the same moment. They were not alone. Space shifted. One by one, faint distortions appeared across the void. At first, they were barely visible small ripples in space, like heat waves. Then, ships emerged. Human ships. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. They did not arrive in formation. They were already there hidden, watching, waiting. Sleek vessels of different sizes, each positioned with perfect awareness. The galaxy had not seen them because they had never wanted to be seen. The human voice spoke again. "This is not an invasion force," it said. "This is a reminder." The council leader stood slowly, his voice unsteady. "What do you want?" he asked. The human response was immediate. "Nothing." The word echoed through the chamber. "We expand quietly," the voice continued. "We observe patiently. We respond only when forced." The junior officer felt the weight of the moment settle over him. Humanity had not come to rule. They had come to set a boundary. The reptilian admiral looked at the fleet status reports. His ships were intact, but powerless. Targeting systems refused to lock. Weapons delayed by invisible commands. The human ships were not attacking. They were controlling the battlefield. "You believed the galaxy was yours," the human voice said. "You believed age meant wisdom." The main screen showed the dying star again. "You are wrong." The council leader bowed his head slightly. "What happens now?" he asked. The human ship did not answer immediately. Outside, the revealed vessel shifted position, placing itself between the alien fleet and human space. A wall, a line drawn. Then the voice returned. "Now," it said, "you will remember this moment." The human ships began to fade. One by one, they slipped back into hidden space. No explosions, no destruction, just disappearance. The command vessel remained a moment longer. "You will tell others," the voice said. "You will warn them." The junior officer realized the truth. This was mercy. The ship's outer layers began to close. The glowing structures folded inward. The massive presence shrank back into its earlier form, silent, dark, hidden once more. The alien fleet systems slowly returned to normal. Weapons unlocked, navigation stabilized, but nothing felt the same. The dying star dimmed. The human vessel vanished completely. Only empty space remained. In the council chamber, no one laughed. No one spoke. The junior officer finally broke the silence. "They were calm," he said softly, "because they never felt threatened." The galaxy did not explode into war. That was the first mistake many leaders made afterward. They expected fire. They expected destruction. They expected revenge. Instead, they received something far worse: understanding. In the days that followed the reveal, reports flooded into the Galactic Supreme Council, not from the human vessel but from across known space. Trade routes failed, not destroyed, just unavailable. Navigation beacons stopped responding near human borders. Ships found themselves gently pushed off course by forces they could not detect. Messages sent toward human space arrived late, edited or not at all. Humanity had not attacked. They had adjusted the rules. The reptilian admiral stood before the council again, his armor dull, his posture tense. He had not slept since the encounter. "Our fleets are intact," he said, "but we are restricted." The council leader narrowed his eyes. "Restricted how?" The admiral hesitated. "We can move," he said, "but not where we want. Our weapons function, but not against human assets. Our systems hesitate, delay, refuse." A machine intelligence confirmed it. "External control detected," it said. "Non-invasive, precise, persistent." The junior officer listened quietly. Humans had not taken control. They had allowed control to be taken away. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. Old empires that once mocked humanity fell silent. Younger species erased jokes and insults from public records. Military academies quietly updated their threat simulations. One phrase appeared again and again in private communications: "Do not provoke." A powerful warlord from the outer systems ignored the warning. He believed the council had exaggerated. Human ships were rare, quiet, hidden. So he tested them. His fleet crossed into human space with shields raised and weapons ready. He broadcast a message filled with threats and pride. There was no reply. For 3 minutes, nothing happened. Then his flagship lost power. Not violently. Not suddenly. It simply shut down. One by one, his ships followed. Life support remained active. Weapons stayed offline. Navigation was gone. They drifted helplessly for hours. Then control returned. A single message appeared on every screen. Human. Translated. This is your warning. The warlord retreated. He never spoke publicly again. Back in the Galactic Supreme Council, fear had replaced arrogance. The council leader addressed the chamber. We misjudged them, he admitted. Not because they were stronger, but because they were patient. The junior officer finally spoke freely. They were never hiding, he said. They were waiting to see who we were. The council fell silent. Humanity did not conquer worlds. They did not demand tribute. They did not take seats in the council. Instead, they changed how the galaxy behaved. Border conflicts near human space stopped. Pirate fleets avoided entire regions without knowing why. Aggressive empires found their logistics failing in strange, gentle ways. Humanity had mastered something the galaxy had never valued: restraint. Months passed. Then came the final message. It appeared simultaneously on thousands of worlds, translated into every known language. No image, no threat, just words. We do not seek control. We seek distance. Do not mistake this for mercy. The council leader closed his eyes as the message ended. This is the price, he said softly. Not blood, not fire. Shame, the junior officer replied. The council dissolved soon after. Not officially. But no one laughed there again. Years later, historians would argue about the moment humanity revealed itself. Some would call it the beginning of a new age. Others would call it the end of an old lie. But everyone agreed on one thing. The galaxy had been arrogant, and arrogance had cost them something they would never get back: control. In quiet corners of space, human ships continued to move unseen. They observed. They learned. They waited. Not for war, for mistakes, because humanity had not shown the galaxy what they could destroy. They had shown it what they could deny, and that frightened every empire more than any weapon ever could. Years passed after the day humanity revealed itself. No great war followed. No empire fell in flames. No stars burned in anger. That silence became the lesson. Across the galaxy, stories changed. Old recordings of the Galactic Supreme Council were quietly removed from public archives. Laughter was edited out. Arrogant speeches disappeared. New versions of history were written with careful words, not lies, warnings. In military academies, instructors paused lessons when human space appeared on star maps. Cadets were taught a new rule, spoken softly but never questioned: do not test them. Children of young species grew up hearing stories their parents never imagined telling. Not stories of monsters, not stories of gods, stories of patience. On distant worlds, merchants adjusted trade routes without knowing why. Pirates avoided certain regions out of instinct alone. Even machines recalculated paths around human borders with strange caution. Humanity did nothing to enforce this. The galaxy enforced it on itself. The junior officer, no longer junior, stood now as a senior observer in a smaller, quieter council. The great chamber above the dying star was abandoned. No one wanted to meet there anymore. He remembered the laughter. He remembered how confident they all were. Now, when the name humanity appeared on screens, there was no sound at all. Only attention. A young delegate once asked him, "Are humans peaceful?" The officer thought for a long moment before answering. "They are careful," he said. "That is more dangerous." Human space remained mostly hidden. Fleets moved, but rarely seen. No flags were planted. No demands were sent. Humanity did not try to rule the galaxy. They simply refused to be ruled by it. On Earth, life continued much as it always had. Humans argued. Humans disagreed. Humans disagreed. Humans lived messy, emotional lives just as the galaxy once mocked. But behind that noise, something else existed. Awareness. Human leaders knew they had been watched, judged, tested. They chose not to celebrate. They chose not to remember. The human command vessel, the one that had revealed itself, returned to deep space. Its name was never shared. Its location never fixed. Even among humans, it became legend. Not a weapon. A reminder. One quiet cycle, a small alien probe drifted too close to human territory by accident. It crossed a boundary without meaning to. No alarms sounded. No weapons powered up. Instead, its navigation system corrected itself gently. A course adjustment appeared. A soft signal nudged it away. The probe returned home unharmed. Its creators understood the message perfectly. The galaxy did not fear humanity's strength. It feared humanity's discipline, because discipline meant choice, and choice meant restraint could end at any moment. In private discussions, ancient beings admitted a truth they had avoided for ages. Humanity had not won a war. They had changed behavior. That was something no empire had ever done. Centuries later, when new species rose and old ones faded, the lesson remained. It was passed down without explanation, without drama. A single sentence carved into training halls and data cores alike. Silence is not absence. The junior officer, now old, stood once more before a window of stars. His species had survived longer than expected, partly because they learned when to step back. He watched a region of space where nothing seemed to be. He knew better. Somewhere out there, human ships moved unseen, not watching in anger, not waiting for war, simply present, ready. And the galaxy respected that presence more than any throne or crown, because humanity never demanded fear. They earned it by proving they did not need to use force to be unstoppable. The old officer closed his eyes and spoke quietly, to no one in particular. "We thought power was loud," he said. "We were wrong. Far away, unseen, a human vessel adjusted course. No one noticed. And that was exactly the point. The galaxy did not learn to fear humanity. It learned to fear what humans chose not to do.